Welcome back live to Syracuse University. It is 2:44 on the East Coast. Scott Hansen with you, rolling on Boost the Cuse 2023, a day of celebrating all things orange and giving to what you love, our great university. Now, for thousands of couples, Syracuse University connected them with their forever loves. So many great love stories on this campus and around this campus during their time or as alumni who met after being together at Syracuse University. So we asked you to share your orange love stories back this past Valentine's Day. We picked out some of the best to share with you this afternoon. I think we have the one that Trina Ragsdale submitted. Here we go. Okay, so she said that she met her forever friends. Trina Ragsdale, class of 1994, met on campus. Trina shared, quote, "What I love about Syracuse is the lasting friendships I made. The photo that we just showed you there reflects 30 years of sisterhood that started right here at Syracuse University and landed them in Rome in 2019 for their annual girls' trip. They met in 1990, they graduated in 94, and they forever bleed orange." Trina, thank you for that submission. So many great stories like that. Let's take a look at the rest of these photos. Love it. From orange love to orange legacies. We caught up with one family who spans 4 generations of orange.
My grandfather graduated from Syracuse in 1926. My mom graduated from Syracuse University
in 1952.
I graduated in 1987, and now my son's on track to graduate from Syracuse University.
And I'm in the class of 2026.
And what does that mean to you to have him walk in the same steps that you did?
Well, I can't walk in his steps to get up the hill, but I'm happy he's walking in mine.
I'm involved in Citrus TV, WAR radio, Z89 radio.
I wanted to play football at Syracuse coming out of high school, but Coach McPherson told me no way. Said I was too small and too slow, but he said I would be a good fit to play rugby.
When I was here, we had a men's student government and a women's student government. And when I was a freshman and we all gathered together, the current head of the women said, "One day, one of you will be up in my place." And I was so happy.
What's your favorite Syracuse University tradition?
My favorite Syracuse University tradition is before football games when we all sing the alma mater together.
In front of Hendricks Chapel with the band playing and the camaraderie there and actually singing the fight song and then being the student section, there's nothing better.
Well, I love the tradition of the football games, although we didn't win very often.
My favorite thing about Syracuse is the general community here.
It's the people I remember more than anything else.
It's become a huge, huge part of my life. When orange is in the blood, it never leaves.
4 generations, 100 years apart. I think it's just really, really cool.
And it all started here. I'm Dr. Jane Perrin, class of 1952.
I'm Josh Perrin, class of 1987.
I'm Gabe Perrin, class of 2026.
And we are forever orange.
And as we are talking legacies, perfect segue right now for our next live studio guest. Please welcome Jasmine Jordan, class of 2014. Jasmine, great to be with you right now. What brings you back to campus here?
You know, it's Forever Orange Week. I got a couple students I need to talk to, and I'm just coming back home, essentially.
I know. And how was the Rager on M Street last night? I could hear it in your voice. No.
I swear. It's just a 3-year-old at home. He's a germaphobe and everything, and I'm just coming on the good bend right now.
I've heard of, I'm not a parent myself, but I've heard of mom brain, I think they call it.
This
is mom
This is
throat,
mom
voice.
Mom all
It
the
just-
issues.
Well,
yes.
the sacrifices you make, the
I love
sacrifices
him, but
you make.
yeah, he did me bogus.
So people hear your last name and they may or may not know your father is the famous Michael Jordan, who had a notable basketball career with the exception of terrible taste in picking colleges.
Right, yeah, I mean.
You end up here where all the Jordans should
Absolutely.
rightly be.
Absolutely.
And you've made it known publicly before that while you're blazing your own path, you respect your family's tremendous heritage and you're involved as well. Tell us how.
So no, I work full time at the Jordan brand in sports marketing as a field rep, and so obviously it's a family brand. I'm walking in it, but my goal is to continuously be voices for our athletes, and ironically to be the voice that don't have one. You know, yeah. But no, at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that the athletes we sign, both on the NBA and the WNBA, constantly feel represented and feel like we're a brand that not only speaks to them, but we're listening to them, and we're constantly trying to push the envelope for their benefits and them.
So this is a day when we reminisce and we think back and we look ahead and we want to bless the next generation as well. You and the Jordan brand, you obviously are crushing it. How did your time at Syracuse set you up for success in this career?
Honestly, it's our community. Like when we say we bleed orange, like we bleed orange. And so that was something knowing coming from a university that's so big on commitment, community, and connection, that when I transitioned away, I was like, okay, how can I still give back? How can I still stay connected? So I love the fact that I've been able to donate to our time HasCom Scholarship Foundation, which is great because it benefits the first generation students. And then on top of that, I sit on the Falk Advisory Board, and graduating from the Falk College is obviously something I cherish, and you know, it's very important to me. So as much as I can give back, as much as I can do, that's something I love to do, and I'm going to continue to do so.
I love it. And blessing us with your time right now and powering through the voice. As a professional broadcaster,
Yeah, you got
I
it.
feel your pain. I know it. I've done it. It's one of the
Right.
nightmares we have sometimes.
for sure.
But we totally appreciate it. When we showed the Orange Love Connections,
Right.
and the first grad who sent in a photo was Trina with her lifelong sisterhood. I thought I heard you make a noise like, oh, that's something. So you've always made a point of staying connected with your friends, obviously, here. What would you recommend to people who want to stay connected or maybe have lost a little touch with Syracuse, their classmates, maybe their professors, or the people that they really should have in life, because we are forever orange, not just 4 or 5 years on campus.
No, for sure, and it's so cliche, but come home. Come back to campus, come back to other elements, come back to weeks like this, or you know, all the elements that we tend to do. Even come back to the dome and just come to a game. I think sometimes when you get removed from the university, you forget the energy.
Yeah.
And so coming back to a week like this, or just going to a game, or going to see basketball, football, whatever, lacrosse, because our ladies are killing it right now. Like, you feel that energy again, and you're reminded, like, dang, I miss this,
Yeah.
and I want to stay connected, and it inspires you to do so. So just come home.
Yeah,
Just come home.
you'll fall in love with the university all over again.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Last question for you. Look, you know your hoops. Our great university is going through really an unprecedented transition right now.
I know.
Coach Boeheim, God love him, God bless him.
Absolutely.
Like a unique career and influence on this university and this city. Yeah. But it's Adrian Autry's turn right now. Now, Adrian was back, he played in my day here.
Yeah.
How do you think the transition will go? What are the expectations?
Honestly, it's going to be smooth. It's
think
going
so?
to be smooth. Don't sleep on Coach Red. Like, his ability to connect to his athletes and, you know, those young guys, they look up to him. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, like, we're going to miss Boeheim. I still don't believe he's retired, so Boeheim, you're not gone. You're around here.
Oh, no, he's keeping an office. He's going to be watching him from the rafters up at the Mello Center.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I'm very excited to see what Coach Red does and just how he puts his spin to something that's so classic. And I'm very, very excited and looking forward to making sure that he creates his own legacy within such a historic school, and he's going to kill it.
Well said. And he's going to be one of our special guests here. As we're doing 16 hours of broadcasts right here.
Okay.
We're not even halfway home, but Coach Red Autry will be swinging by here in just a little bit. And right now, if you don't mind, as I thank you for your time, you'll probably want to watch this next segment.
Perfect.
Jasmine Jordan, thank you for being here. Let's turn to someone who is well known to the Jordan family, sports super agent, the one and only David Falk, 1972 graduate of Syracuse, who gave the naming rights and the naming gift to the Falk College. One of David's clients, of course, Michael Jordan. Here he is.
Syracuse was the only school that I was admitted to. I expected to go to an Ivy League school. I applied to 4 of them, and I applied to Syracuse as a safe school. And it just really shows you how little you know when you're in high school about really what's in your best interest, because I ended up becoming an econ major, and the Maxwell School was certainly superior to any of the 4 Ivy League schools that I could have gotten into in economics. So Syracuse was a perfect place for me. The year that I was accepted in 1968, they started an honors program for young students like me that were Ivy League caliber students that for one reason or another didn't get into an Ivy League school. And I think the overall college experience in terms of education, maturity, exposure, sports, and lifestyle, Syracuse was absolutely perfect for me. Well, the most important mentor in my life was my mother, Pearl Falk. My mom was a rare person in her generation who even went to college. Very few women went to college back then. She got 2 master's degrees. She was fluent in 8 languages. And she was really my life mentor. She really emphasized education to a high degree. And so when I was fortunate enough in business to have the opportunity to do something that would make a social impact, rather than choosing medical research or saving the rainforest in Brazil, I wanted to do something in education to honor my mother, Pearl. As much as people have thanked me for giving to Syracuse, the rewards that I've derived from my involvement with Falk College have made me a much richer person. When I went to college, I think I paid about $3,000 a year for room and board and tuition. And today the price is significant, $75,000, $80,000 a year. And there are many very highly qualified students that don't have the financial resources to even go to college today. And so I think that it's critically important if Syracuse wants to maintain its standing amongst universities that it enjoy the financial support of the alumni. It doesn't have to be a $1 million gift. It could be a $1,000 gift. It could be a $100 gift. But I think being part of solving this problem, solving this challenge that faces almost every university in America is critical. And I think for people who feel that Syracuse has played an important role in their lives and their careers, I think giving something is very meaningful. It doesn't have to be a naming gift. It doesn't have to be something that is going to set records, but it's definitely going to change the lives of a lot of young people that aspire to go to college, just want to go to Syracuse University. And so I encourage every alum, whether they're first year out of school, to just make a gift, to get in the habit. It's something you have to learn. And I didn't learn it probably till I was in my 40s. But I think the satisfaction that you derive from walking up to people who say, thank you, you helped me start my career, you helped me go to college, is a feeling that you can't buy.
Well, we just heard from David Falk, and we now have with us the dean of the college that bears his name. She is Dean Diane Leiden-Murphy. We are so thrilled to have you with us. Well, as you look back on 6 decades at Syracuse University, what are you most proud of?
I was able to practice what I loved in my passions in life. So as a social activist, I was able to study it, understand the theory pieces, and then teach it. So how good is that? I mean, you get to teach what you practice, what you love. So I did that for years and years. And then as I had children very early, I had my first kids were twins.
Wow, wow.
I took them to work with me. Under my desk, I was a graduate student working as a graduate TA for the Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Chuck Willey, a wonderful legend at Syracuse University. I had the very good possibility of working with him. And we started the daycare center because there weren't the services needed on campus for the people that were moving into, it was that time when it was still,
Women
the
at home,
interference of women at home and what are you doing here with your kids? That's irresponsible. Why is it irresponsible? We can do it all. That was where we were. And so how do we do it all? We didn't have the infrastructures in place to do it all. So you had to build them.
In your time, we heard from David Falk. Obviously, that's a huge showcase of philanthropy.
Oh, yes.
The college bears his name. How else have you seen philanthropy at work in Falk College and in your time at Syracuse University? That's what Boost the Cuse is all about.
Right.
So what has that meant to you?
Well, what's interesting about people who study in the professions like of health and human services, other than sport, which is a business apparatus compared to the rest of the college, is they're very committed to this work. I mean, they make that decision when they go into it. Nobody's going to be a trillionaire being a social worker. Somebody that's doing nutrition work is not going to be, the most well-living person in the world. It's commitment to the science, to the theory, to helping people, to doing that work and making. So what they are is very committed and very loyal. Now, it's not always $1 million gift, or certainly the $20 million that Falk had done, but it's the commitments, and then every now and then a prize. They people put us on we're their benefactor when they die, and all of a sudden, we do get another $2 million.
Right.
We get constant, I would say, consistent loyalty. But not a whole lot of money, although we have an incredible advancement team led by Dave Salinger, who I call him the Rainmaker. He brings it in no matter what. And we have probably, we don't have really rich alumni. Every now and then somebody bursts out, or again, an example would be in our kitchens and nutrition area, a lifelong elementary school teacher gives that to us. Yes, gives that to us.
Tremendous.
And then we name scholars after her name. She's committed every year. She loves it. It's her life's work. And she makes it to go on into an endowment. So that's what we have. And that's very impressive. And then also, current students' families who are perhaps more well off do give back to their kids' interest areas in life. So we had a nice gift from someone whose daughter was into digital literacy for early childhood, like early childhood. You're talking about infant to 5, because think about how important that is. Technology and literacy for young kids. This is the transformation in the world.
Right.
So that young student who's now a senior, maybe she is graduating this year, has said, this is what I want to study. And so the family put some money behind what she wanted to study. So we have, you know, a $10,000, a $20,000 gift to do some work.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So-
Well, Dean Murphy, I am so grateful for your time and 6 decades here on the Syracuse
Thank you.
University campus, and what you've done is truly tremendous. So thank you so much. And
Well,
Scott,
thank you.
we'll
Nice
send it
talking
right back
to you.
over to you.
Kim, thank you. Syracuse loves a winner. And we are pleased to be joined live in studio right now with one of Syracuse University's ultimate winners, Ian McIntyre, the head coach of the Syracuse men's soccer team, and he brings hardware with him. The NCAA championship, the latest national championship to be won by this great university, and the first ever to be won by the men's soccer team. Coach, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you for bringing your buddy along as well.
You guys really wanted that. You didn't want me. So look, I understand. Someone has to carry it, but I recognize that's more important than the coach.
We had Coach Dino Babers in earlier. We've had other SU celebrities on campus. I think more selfies might have been taken with the hardware right there than anything else.
I wasn't even acknowledged. It went. Everyone went straight to the trophy.
Well, no, look at you and your guys put together a run that everyone in the university here now and alums like myself can be proud of. How did you guys do it, especially when it came down to PKs at the end?
The penalty shootout part, coaches, we have no control over that. You just trust your players, and in the biggest of moments, our guys stood up and responded and embraced that challenge. And from a coach, I'm asked, what were our thoughts? You have no control. It's toughest for the fans, the families. That's the roller coaster of emotions you go through. But for me, our guys stepped up. There was a number of big moments in that game that went down to a penalty shootout. Sheely stood up, made that important save, and then our captain, Anthony Sinclair, when that ball hits the back of the net, it meant we were coming home to Syracuse with some hardware.
So awesome. So awesome. I have 2 questions about the significance of the national title win. One is, what does it mean for Syracuse University? And what does it mean for the men's soccer program? And those can be exclusively different answers there. Let's talk about the university. How have you seen this title and your team and your efforts and your coaching staff efforts galvanize this campus, and then galvanize people that are thousands and thousands of miles away watching from afar, their guys become champions?
Well, our boys take tremendous pride in representing Syracuse University, our community, Central New York.
Yep.
And from my perspective, the biggest enjoyment I received personally was watching our special community celebrate this with us. And so you see some of the images during that penalty shootout, as I said, that roller coaster, and that final moment when that penalty hit the back of the net. We had some terrific, it was a real emotional moment, and we've enjoyed seeing our community celebrate with us.
Did your gut go from like being in a knot to being like, what do I do right now? Like, or is it just like I can't imagine, I'm trying to put myself in your circumstance, not being able to control it like you did, loving each and every one of those young men and the young men that they're representing with only 5 chances to do it, and they come through.
Yeah, you have 5, but it went to like 4 rounds of sudden death.
Well, yeah.
It was the nature of that just the heart. There was moments when Levante Johnson's penalty hits the crossbar, it drops, it just crosses the line. Indiana thought they'd won. They'd run on the field at that time and had to turn around and exit. We took a deep breath there, but it's a lottery. It's a wonderful way to win. It's a devastating way to lose. So for me, at that moment, and look, maybe as a younger guy, if my hamstrings weren't as tight, maybe I'd have run down the sideline and celebrated with my guys. But at that moment, I'll be honest with you, I thought of the Indiana guys, because there's no harder way to lose a national championship game than in a sudden death penalty shootout.
We owed Indiana big time from the 1980s basketball.
I've heard that
Keith
several
Smart.
times.
Yes, and I'm sure you've seen the highlight. We owed them. But that's very classy of you to mention them in what was an agonizing defeat. Okay, so that's the Syracuse University side. What does it mean for your program? I mean, you hear about a football team winning a national title or a basketball team. It propels. It is now a destination. Recruits. The profile of the program gets raised. Do you see some of that already, and what do you hope it turns into?
It certainly doesn't hurt if you can phone someone up and and a lot of, there's a lot of eyeballs on those games in those biggest moments of a national tournament run. And then the fact that, we had the ACC trophy as well last year. So yes, there's been momentum. The other part of that is when you have good teams, you have good players, they have opportunities in the professional world as well. So we're going to be a very new team as well this year. So yes, it's certainly not hurt. But we gravitate towards a certain student athlete, and that's not going to change. Someone who takes tremendous pride in representing our university, normally has a chip on their shoulder, something to prove. That won't change, and now we're looking to add that consistency to our program, to be able to compete at the highest level year in, year out, week in, week out.
You gave us all a thrill that we will remember and cherish, and something that brings us together. All my football buddies were texting me during this time to say, are you seeing what they're doing? Did you see what they did and whatnot? This is a day of fundraising, and people are able to donate right now, specifically if you want to earmark it to this championship men's soccer team. You can do that. We will get it to them. And you guys are working up some funding for something special that you want to do with this current men's soccer team. Tell us about that.
To wrap up a national championship season, a very special year for a wonderful group of young men, looking to take them to England on an international tour in May. The opportunity to compete against 3 Premier League under-23 teams.
Really?
And embrace, look, we're not going to England for the food and the cuisine, but sorry, Mum.
I laughed a little too loud at that. I have no problem with it.
As with my English heritage, I've just offended my whole family, but there's only so much.
But you're going there for a business trip every bit as much as a cultural experience.
Absolutely. We'll be in London, we'll be in Manchester, we'll compete against 3 Premier League teams. It'll be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for our guys, but it will also, we're using it as a way to springboard us, celebrate 22, but springboard into 23 and see if we can do something truly remarkable next year.
Come on, Syracuse. We love a winner. They were the ultimate winners back in December, and they want to propel this going forward. Find it in your heart to be generous and make a donation. These guys will certainly appreciate it, and they can probably find some decent food over there if we put a little extra.
Fish and chips for everybody.
Hey, you can't go wrong right there. Coach McIntyre, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thanks for having me.
As an alum, this brings me so much pride, and I know I speak for thousands of Orange around the world here with what you guys do.
Thank you so much.
All the best to your guys. Appreciate it. Let's see how we're doing over on the tote board right now. We are joined by Newhouse grad student Luke Schwartz. Luke, good afternoon. How are we doing on the big board?
Hey, let's go, Scott. You know what? You shook my hand earlier.
Yes, I did.
And you sent a wave of electricity all throughout my body. So we're pumped up and ready to go to talk about some numbers on a day that brings smiles to everybody's faces. When you talk about turning a dream into reality, that's what Boost the Cuse does. As a kid from Portland, Oregon, I have always dreamed about becoming a sports broadcaster, and it's days like today that turned a distant dream into true reality. So let's take a look at that reality, especially with our board right now. Wow, that number just screams off the screen for you right here. Over $1 million. That is so impressive, folks. That is not back pocket change. That is hard-earned money that's being put right back here at Syracuse University, which is so impressive, and we cannot thank you enough for that. Look at that, over 2,500 donors, over 2,200 gifts. This thing just continues to rise up, and up, 45% of the total goal, and we're not even to the halfway point of this entire marathon of Boost the Cuse. Just so impressive. And as we take a look around the U.S. too, look at how many states have gotten involved. Okay, I see you, Oregon. We got 6 gifts, raised about $1,000. Let's look over here all the way to New York. All right, showing off just a little bit with over $202,000. But for our folks up here in the central Midwest, I've been to Idaho, I've been to Montana. Great people, great place, but they usually don't wake up until about 3 o'clock. So we'll give them a little bit more time to get ready and get donating. But it doesn't just stop in the United States. We go all the way, down to the world There we go, we can scroll. Forever Orange across the world. Look at that. It doesn't just span the United States. We got places all over across the globe because Syracuse spans more than just the United States. There are people that have been touched everywhere by the orange and blue that are donating, which makes this day even more special. I mean, you're talking about places all the way over here, like Indonesia, that have placed a gift or some money to donate for this amazing cause. And then there's also some cool things that you can do as students as well. There are great challenges going on throughout today. Are you a current student? Yes, I am. Well, guess what? Here's what you can do. You can go on and gift, and then if your grad class, which is mine for 2023, or if you're an undergrad, the more you donate, you could get $10,000 will go to fund the most supported by that class, which is really cool. And then also, I'm a sucker for stuffed animals, so the Hidden Auto Challenge is all throughout Syracuse campus. They've got 20 stuffed autos throughout, so put your glasses on, start looking, because they're hidden everywhere. And who doesn't want to go to bed snuggled up next to Otto, because he's just honestly the greatest. And one other thing I want to point out to you all the way at the very bottom, two very important words: Forever Orange. Whether you went here to Syracuse, if you knew someone that went through the program, watched a game before, you have been touched by this community. The orange runs deep throughout our blood. It's two words, but it spans an entire lifetime. Forever Orange, which also means forever family. And now our Boost the Cuse broadcast will continue in about a half an hour. We'll talk about health and wellness, visit the esports room at the Barnes Center, and much more when Scott Hansen is back at 3:44. And in the 4:40 show, head women's basketball coach Felicia Leggett-Jack will join us live from practice at Columbia University, where her team is preparing for tomorrow night's Super 16 matchup. And now, Scott, I know that you are a football guy along with myself of 10 years, so before I kick it back to you, I gotta say, Boost the Cuse on three. You ready?
Go ahead.
1, 2, 3. Boost the Cuse.
Cuse. I threw a little stagger in there.
No, you're good. You're good. Hey, long snapper, running back, all the same. Thank you so much. Back to you, Scott.
Luke, great job. We will see you again at 44 minutes past the hour.